Perfect, thank you. All right. Welcome everyone to ACDT number 65. Today is January 12th, and this is the first ACDT on the of the year. So happy New Year, everyone. And I want to share the agenda really quickly on the chat. Yeah. All right. So I'll just get started. So the first item in the agenda is the mainnet BPO that happened last week. I don't think there were any um, issues or um, events that happened, but I just wanted to bring this up and see if anyone has any comments regarding the BPO that happened last week in mainnet. Barnabas, I don't know. I see you're online. I don't know if you want to share anything or.
Everything pretty much went as expected. I think we are good to go with testing BPO3 numbers. But I think that's the next topic. Regarding BPO2, everything looks good now.
Thanks. Anything from the clients that wants to be shared on this call? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, congrats everyone on this successful BPO2. I think we can just move on to BPO3. Do you want to start the discussion, Barnabas, about BPO3?
Yeah, so BPO3 is going to require us to basically implement LBOB v3 and partial sell messages on the CL side. This is something that we have work in progress. All the ELs have a GetBlob v3 implemented already in their trunk branches, and that is what we're going to be using to test the partial messages on the CL side. We currently have Lighthouse and Prism interrupting on a local Curtis setup, but we are expecting to launch a DevNet where we can test this publicly. We also have a few more metrics that we want to include regarding the GetBlob v3 metrics. We have a PR for that in the Beacon metrics repo. Just get that. So once this is added, then we can actually start the DevNet because there's no point of running the DevNet without being able to verify that things are working. If you have additional ideas, what kind of metrics you would like to see, maybe just comment to this PR and let's see if we can add that as well. But yeah,
Sounds good.
that's about it. Regarding timelines, I'm not sure if we can already discuss that. I think we should go through the whole process of testing it and making sure everything is working before we can discuss specific timelines.
For sure. Anything that you need from the clients at this point, other than input? Do you need to implement something?
Implementation,
Yep.
yeah, they need to implement the partial messages on the CL side, which is quite a big change, and also adding all the metrics that is listed on this PR.
Okay, so just to recap, Lighthouse and what's the other client that has already implemented this?
Prism.
Okay. All right. So yeah, for the rest of the clients, please reach out. Where are we coordinating this? Is R&D Discord or anywhere else?
Raul made a Telegram group. For some reason, it's in a random Telegram group instead of an R&D. But yeah, you can reach out to me or to Raul from the P2P team. And yeah, if you're not included in the Telegram group, then you can add you.
Sounds good. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thanks for this input. Um, any comments on the client from the client teams regarding BPO3? Is everything clear regarding the next steps? Any blockers or general comments about it?
I personally don't think it's super urgent, by the way, to push for BPO3,
Okay,
as our blob usage is not even near target, so I think we have time.
perfect. Okay, that's good. Sounds reasonable. All right. Yeah, just to recap, if anyone needs help with BPO3, although not urgent, please reach out to Barnabas and he can help you out to coordinate. All right, cool. Just single comment. Yeah, I think from Lukash is if we want to wait for BPO3 until the demand increases, and yeah, I think this is general sentiment from what I can see.
Yeah, so I don't think we need to wait. If this is ready and good to be rolled out, then I think we should just roll it out because it's a significantly more efficient algorithm using the partial cell request. So like it would help basically reduce the bandwidth requirement for every single node operator on the network. So we need proper testing. Once the testing is done, then we should just roll it out, whether or not we wait for BPO3. Yeah, I'm not sure if you need to further increase the BPO number. I think we can discuss that in Awkward Devs maybe next week or maybe even 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, Matthew.
The partial messages is a pretty big spec change, or at least implementation change. And I think we should see how that works on mainnet with mainnet traffic before we start to increase the blob traffic, just to make sure that there's no edge cases that come up when we do actually hit mainnet.
Yeah, to answer Justin's comment, I don't think there's a decision yet. Is this more of like a general question, or I don't think we have numbers, if that's, yeah, it's to be decided. Okay. All
Yeah, I think
right.
based on some tests, we can figure out the BPO numbers, but it's it hasn't been super urgent, and yeah, we need to have the implementation basically working 100% of the time, and then we can start looking into which numbers would make sense.
Yeah, that
Sounds
seems like
good.
a very prudent approach. Is just make sure that the code that's going to be running has gotten some mainnet flexing of test, just to make sure it's good, and then the BP number can probably go up way up from there.
All right. Makes sense. All right. We can continue this discussion on ACDC or ACDE this week or next if clients have updates on the implementations. All right. Good. Thanks. I think that's it for Fusaka, although BPO3 can be considered maybe more of a Glamsterdam topic at this point. But yeah, anyway, the next topic in the agenda is Glamsterdam. Um, we're going to start with block level access lists. I think there was an update supposed to be released this week for the tests. Um, Other than that, I don't have any more info. Do we have anyone in the call at the moment that has an update regarding block level access list?
I could give a quick update on the definite one, but not on the testing situation. Currently, definite one has been running over the holidays pretty decently. There were a few incidents where I had to spend some time getting it fixed, especially regarding syncing. So a lot of clients have released some patches regarding syncing up to the head, and that seems to be working pretty well. Only Reth hasn't had time yet to look into that. So most of the clients are working well. It would be nice if Reth could get up to speed here. And Ericon, I think they're also looking into getting their client syncing. We're constantly spamming the network with EVM fuzzing and Uniswap transactions. But other than that, we also haven't expanded the testing too much yet. Beyond that, I've just been working a lot on getting all the tooling running smoothly.
Thank you. Any comments from anyone from Breath or Aragon? Do you guys have any blockers, or what's the status?
So on Aragon's side, our developer who was our primary developer who was working on block access lists was on holiday. So I think he's back from today. I need to catch up with him, but we should resume our Bell progress soon.
Thank you. Anyone from Breath on the call? All right. If not, I think we should reach out async to the team to see what's the status on that. From the test side, I see Felipe on the call. Do you want to chime in on the progress?
Yeah. From the testing side, a few of the issues that we had on the DevNet were related to self-destruct, and there's a PR out to greatly increase the self-destruct test cases for BALs. And I'm just waiting on this last PR to be merged to make a release for the next test, BAL tests. Also, this next test release is going to have all of the old Ethereum tests that we have filled for Amsterdam. So it's going to include quite a lot more tests by its nature. It's just where we're going to have all of those tests turned on. I've already ran this against some of the clients that have successful BAL implementations that are passing all of the current tests. And it looks like at least Nimbus passes all 39,000 tests, even with Ethereum tests turned on. So this is a good sign. But yeah, we're gonna have significantly more tests in this next test release that I hope to get out as soon as this PR is merged.
Great, thank you. I also wanted to touch upon the topic of which EIPs should be included from Amsterdam in the next release after this one, but I will come back to that after ePBS. All right, but on block level access, is there anything else that we want to discuss today regarding block level access list? All right, if not, I think we can move into ePBS. Do we have anyone that can give us an update on the status of the ePBS implementations?
Yeah, I can. 1 second. I just posted I just shared a comment in the chat. There have been 2 releases in 2026, primarily focused towards ePBS and GLOS. V1.7.0 Alpha 0 is the spec for DevNet, for ePBS DevNet 0. There's a new Alpha.1 release. We can probably just bump the spec to that. It doesn't really change anything. This includes a lot of the changes that we talked about and agreed to last year, like the big changes to builders and some withdrawal refactoring and stuff like that, and also proposer preferences, but that's not part of DevNet 0. I believe client teams are just working on implementing all of those changes. Yeah. Barnabas says we should aim for Alpha 1 release for the DevNet, otherwise everyone will have to implement a broken phase 0 changes. Yeah, sure. And there's also like a new issue with Alpha 1, actually. We probably should have implemented the withdrawals fix in GLOS. I opened a new discussion on that on Discord. That's the, I guess, the third link in my comment. Let's chat about that more there. And there are still some open PRs that need to be reviewed and either closed or merged. So please take some time to review those when you have a chance.
As we basically got rid of the ePBS breakout rooms, I think this would be the place to discuss those PRs.
Okay.
Do you want to run through them, Justin? Sorry, I don't want to hijack the call, Mario.
No, you're fine.
No, no worries.
I'm not super prepared to share my screen or anything. Mario, would you like to?
Yes, no problem. So which PR should we start with?
We can start with the first PR in the list.
Yep.
I'm looking at it. It's the add is higher value bid helper for bid forwarding threshold. It's sort of like a DOS prevention. I haven't responded to Barnabas's comment yet, but essentially we can add a percentage increase minimum for new bids. So like yeah, in order to forward a bid, you have to receive one that's like 1 to 3% higher than the previous highest bid. It sort of prevents the total number of messages that can be propagated. That way it's not like a one GUI increase every single time.
I also cannot share screen. Can someone help out to share the PRs on screen, please?
I can probably do it. Just enable the setting though. Okay, maybe I can't do it. I would have to rejoin in order to share my screen. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's the one. So if we were to define a 1% percentage increase, there could be like 2,000 messages to reach 1 ETH, which I think is like a good maximum. If we were to do this, I might suggest like a 3% increase, just like as the middle of the road. What do client teams or other people feel about this? Barnabas had an interesting suggestion. Maybe you want to talk about that some too.
Yeah, so my suggestion was that the fixed 3% might be a bit too rough, especially when the block prices are a bit higher. So I would actually suggest that we introduce a floor, so a minimum increase. So when the block value is very low, then we would not wait for the 3%, but we would say that the minimum increase we want to do is something like 0.0001 ETH. And we would also have a cap. So when we reach like 0.5 ETH, then we will use a cap value of like 0.01 ETH. And that way the min floor plus the max cap values would lower the total number of spam transactions to like 500 to 256, 1 to 3%.
That sounds reasonable to me. How do other people feel about this PR? Just like in general.
Have client teams had a chance to check this review? Sid Porus, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't oppose this PR, and I certainly think that clients should implement a version of this percentage minimum, and whatever it is to prevent DOS. I just want to call out that this is not enforceable in any way. So this is a P2P specification that we cannot downscore peers for sending us bids that are of low value, because that might be the highest value they have seen. We can probably downscore peers that send us a bid with a lower value that they themselves have sent us before, but that's going to be hard to keep track. That's gonna I mean, that has to be specified, and we will have to like keep track of what each peer sent us before and so forth, in order to be actually enforceable in a way. And so if we are not going to enforce downscoring of peers on this topic, I would suggest that these things are not really specified at all, and just allow clients to implement this, instead of like having to have a more complex spec. I tend to lean into having smaller specification, less specification on things that cannot be enforced, and we just agree that we have good defaults. But I don't mind if this is merged. We are going to implement this anyways. If people believe that it's good to have this as specified, that's fine.
Yeah, you're completely right. If other client teams agree with just closing the PR, we can close it.
Any comments from other client teams on this call?
So I agree with Pontus partially, but I think like if someone wants to go to the complicated path to actually implement something, maybe we should have a common rule that says this is not valid, and based on that you don't score. So the complicated implementation will be actually tracking what has been sent by each peer, and then you take a decision. If we don't have these details, maybe you don't you close the door to implement any downscore at all, because we don't have anything. I don't know if it makes sense. So I actually in favor of something like that, having it good specs, maybe not super details, but the overall limits that are acceptable, and then based on that we can potentially then score if clients wants to implement.
We could just add a paragraph stating that clients may or should implement something like this, but not actually define what it is.
Yeah, but we need to have a common limits. That's my point. That's my point. So if you
We don't
approach
actually-
that saying,
I don't think we actually need a common limit. I mean, client teams could do whatever they want here, like Proto said. It's not enforceable.
No. I think what Enrico's saying is that if we are going to downscore, for example, because you sent me a bid and then you sent me another bid that it was only like a fraction more higher than the previous one, then I will downscore you. If we are going to have something like this, I mean, if there's going to be enforcement of these kind of rules, then we need to specify it, because then we actually need to have a hard value that if you send me lower than this, I will downscore you and you will be isolated.
Oh, I see.
I agree with Enrico.
yeah, we need to have consistent behavior among clients if we want to have something like that. That's my take.
I don't think we are. I don't really think we are going to be implementing something like this. So I'm not really sure. Perhaps we should kick this can for down the road, because it might be complicated to implement this.
Yeah, the full down score for sure. But oh yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, let's just kick it down the road. Next PR, please. And POTUS, this is yours. Would you like to talk about it?
Oh, this is a bug fix, but at the same time, it allows us to have builders, some set of builders right at the fork. The issue is that on the PR that we opened, that makes builders different slice that are not validators, so their stake is not validating in any way. In that PR, we dealt with deposits in a very special way. So when you get a deposit request for a builder address, so that's a builder that starts with the withdrawal address starts with 003. Then if there's no validator with that withdrawal address, we onboard that builder immediately. we fulfill that deposit immediately. If there was a validator with that address, then it goes through the standard process of like putting in a queue and then adding to that validator. Now, the problem is what happens to those deposit requests that are included right before the fork. So if you deposit for a 003 validator right before the fork, it will go through the standard pipeline and it will put a pending deposit, because deposits for validators are only processed after finalization. So we will put a pending deposit for that validator in the queue. And if you add a deposit request right at the fork for a builder, the same withdrawal address, then we would process it as a builder immediately. And then later on, when we process after finalization, we process the pending deposit, we will have both a builder and a validator with the same public key. And that's a problem. So in order to fix this, what I propose is something that I believe is safe and easy, but it needs to be validated by other clients, which is at the fork, look through the pending queue of validators. And if there's any pending deposit for a 003 validator that is new, just onboard it as a builder immediately at the fork. So transform any 003 deposit for a validator that is not yet included as a validator, then immediately process that deposit as a builder, remove from the pending queue, and then you have builders at the fork. If this works, then it also solves the problem of not having builders at the fork, because builders can send these deposits in the last epoch before the fork. So if they get included right before the fork during the last epoch, they will be already active and with balance in one slot after the fork.
And to be clear, builders wouldn't be able to submit peer-to-peer, like P2P bids until the next epoch after the fork still. But you're saying that's still okay?
Yeah, so that's right. So the P2P bidding, I don't think it's something critical, but it does seem that it's critical that we have the standard builders that are already trusted to be able to build immediately at the fork. Otherwise, applications like CowSwap might start falling.
Okay. Yeah, that PR makes sense to me. Do other client teams have opinions on it before moving on?
I just want to quickly add something onto your comment. Builders will be able to submit P2P bids, I think. The only problem is that they won't have the preferences. But bids, I believe, will be propagated, and the proposer might want to take them if they agree with their view. Like if my node, for example, would have a preference that is very simple to see. If you send me for my fee recipient B my withdrawal address, then I'll take that bid.
Okay, but I mean the proposer preferences, gossip topic checks do require the proposer preferences. Like you won't forward preferences if you don't know that it's correct. Or I'm not saying it properly.
Also, we're tying like bid forwarding to satisfying the preferences from the proposer.
Yes, I think we are at the moment.
That might be bug prone. I hadn't noticed this.
I
will make those two topics be independent. So you're thinking that is a good way of like preventing DOS?
I mean, yes, but also just making sure that the bid you get is actually what you want. It's for the correct fee recipient and gas limit.
Yeah. So the proposer,
someone else's.
The proposer would do this, right? So the proposer would do that filtering for sure. What is not clear to me if other validators should be doing that filtering, because I mean, it's fine if they do, but it seems to me that these are two independent message propagation.
What if what if you just forward a really high bid for the wrong fee recipient? Then the one that you eventually get will be incorrect, or like you won't be able to accept it anyway. Because you're only going to forward the highest bid, correct?
Well, yes, and yeah, I believe so. Because you
So,
could
like,
just send it to
an attack.
yourself, and then it doesn't cost you anything. You just set your peer recipient to be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And Justin Potus, can we move on to the next PR just for the sake of time? We are already spent a lot of time on this PR.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry. This is a simple PR with just refactors a paragraph saying that validators no longer have to broadcast or something like that. I don't recall. Barath, are you here?
Yeah, I mean, yep. Sorry, I didn't know you brought it up. But no, I mean, the last time I was reading the consensus specs, like we weren't like setting. Sorry, we weren't. Wait, let me. Uh, sorry, once. Yeah, I think we weren't like setting the. So I think when a validator like self builds, like I think they have to broadcast the blobs to it. So I mean, basically in the self-building case, I think we weren't like clarifying that. Actually, could I take this offhand because like it's been a while since I've also lost context of this. I'm sorry about that. Like,
Yeah, that's fine. I think we should also discuss the next one offline as well. Like it's pretty complicated, and I definitely wouldn't be able to explain it in the next 3 minutes.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. Do we have a breakout for this for the remaining open PRs happening soon, or should we just do this async and wait until the next ACDT?
I would prefer not to have a breakout call. I enjoyed not having that responsibility. So I would vote for async.
Sounds good. Okay. Great. Thanks for explain this PRs, and yeah, let's move to async. And yeah, I think this is basically the main blocker for DevNet for ePBS, if I understand correctly. Yeah, Patus?
So I don't know other clients. The main blocker for us is that we need to have a freeze. If it's not on the spec, at least we need to have a freeze on the structures. We don't want to have any more container changes because that actually freezes our being able to merge into develop. And this is the only reason we are not merging PRs into develop is because the structures themselves are in flux. So it would be nice to get into a situation in which we can actually freeze that. And if this is going to be the call that we are going to be making this decision, then we should really take the time and make these decisions here.
Why can't we use Alpha 1?
This is not clear if the structures are going to be changing or not.
But is it a problem if we start with Alpha 1 and then modify the structures? What's the problem they're envisioning?
No, it's not a problem. That if we decide to move the balances away from the builder and just having a normal slice for balances, then that actually is a big change for us. I mean, the PR that we merged to make valid builders not validators was merged just a couple of weeks ago, and that is a very large PR. So if we keep having these sort of like big changes, then this is really a blocker for releasing. I think Alpha 1 looks good to me. It's just that it's not really clear to me that the structures are frozen.
I don't think that we can guarantee they're frozen. But
which other PR is changing the structure? Is it the onboarding builders from pending deposits?
I mean, it's just like the thing that Potus just mentioned. Like we may want to move builder balances into a separate state field.
Right, but like that could be the scope of like DevNet 3 or whatever. Like I don't think we should be focusing on that. Like we can discuss it async if we actually want to do that or not. But I would just want to have a DevNet up and running with the current spec and iterate from there. Because we've been trying to launch a DevNet since October.
Yeah, I agree. We just need to get a DevNet.
Yeah, the problem, Barnabas, is also the other way around. If we do find changes, we could have frozen a couple of releases ago when the builders were validators, because anyways, the DevNet doesn't have external builders. We agreed on that too. But the problem is that if we do something like that and we freeze on one release, then we can't really release anything new on the specs, because whenever there's a new spec test, a new spec release, then we need to satisfy those spec tests. So as soon as we freeze for the next DevNet, we cannot merge anything on the consensus layer spec that changes any structure, for example, because otherwise we will just start failing test vectors.
For like 2 weeks. Like if we do a 2-week test cycle and we say that the next change will come in 2 weeks, then yeah, for 2 weeks we will need to
There's no
target that.
freaking way we're gonna have a DevNet in 2 weeks. That's just not gonna happen.
I think you're saying to have a 2-week cycle. So like after we get DevNet 0 up, then we could have DevNet 1, 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
but
my point.
then but up to that point, so if we freeze now on Alpha 1, and let's say that we have a DevNet ready in a few weeks from now until we are actually testing on DevNet, we cannot have any new release on the consensus spec.
Why?
Because we take it in a trustless manner. What are the spec vectors, the test spec vectors? So we take it from the release, we grab the spec test vectors, we just pass spec tests like that on our main branch. So if the structure changes, we will.
You could just mock them out, right? Like you could just specify a different branch or a different release or
yeah, and then
remote
yeah,
where you get the test vectors from.
It can be cased, but we really don't want to be casing on our production code. Like we are skipping these tests or like passing these tests this way for this DevNet and this other production for the actual mainnet release. So we prefer if when we freeze, we prefer that the spec test vectors are actually what we're going to be testing.
Couldn't you just ignore the new spec release as well? I mean, like the changes that we're making don't really affect like Fusaka mainnet right now.
Well, it depends, right? So you had, for example, something that was pushed that changed the test vectors for phase 0. Like if there's anything that changes the spec test vectors for Fulu, then we really want to pass them.
I agree with that. But I don't think from Alpha 1 to Alpha 2, we will change anything that's pre-gloss. And we shouldn't change pre-gloss stuff anymore.
If that happens, then we're fine. I mean, if only new releases are only changing GLOAS, we're happy.
Okay. And I mean, like I want to be able to refactor and improve code, but as long as it doesn't change the spec tests, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. All right. Yeah. And I think we have to time box this and then move on to AIP prioritization. Any last comments on the CL topic at the moment for ePBS from other clients mainly? I would like to hear thoughts on other clients. All right. Yeah, on the EL side, I shared a link for the CFI the so far CFI EIPs, which are this one. And the main thing that I would like to resolve on this call is for the specs and the spec tests to be on the same page and basically in lockstep with the client implementations. At the moment we have, I think, if I 9 CFI EIPs, if I understand correctly. So what I would like for us to go over this call is the EIPs that we want to implement first in the specs and tests, just for us to have a release for the ELs that works on top of block level access lists. And my suggestion is that we implement the first 4 CFI EIPs for the next release, which is 7778, 77008, 7843, and 8024. So this is my recommendation, but I would like to hear from clients if there is any client that already started implementing these EIPs or any other CFI EIPs. That's what I want to hear in this call. Yes, these are EL only changes basically. So we can basically in parallel while ePBS is being ready for DevNet 0, we can start implementing this in tests and make a release on the tests just to make sure that we are ready with something on top of log level access list for DevNet for the first DevNet.
We could also just target ball DevNet 2, I think, with these on top of as extra. Because I don't think we can have a Glamstergram like a combined with ePBS DevNet anytime soon.
Yeah, that also makes sense. I think as long as we keep moving on the EL side,
yeah, we should.
While ePBS is being ready, I think that's a positive.
I think we can totally do ball DevNet 2 with these 4 EIPs included already. And then with ball DevNet 3, for example, we would include 4 more and just keep moving forward like that. As long as they are EL only changes, I don't see much of a problem.
Sounds good. Yeah. Any thoughts from the EL clients? Does this sound like a reasonable approach? Okay. Nethermind mentions that they already have Slotam, which is good because that's one of the EIPs. And it's easy for a test to implement. Have other clients already started implementing any of the CFI EIPs for Amsterdam?
We haven't yet. But we will make a plan this week and implement everything as soon as possible. But yeah, I guess it's easy to start with those because they are very easily implementable and testable.
Thank you. Any other ELs? All right. Any oppositions to these EIPs being the first one implemented and released on the tests? I shared the link on the chat if anyone wants to take a look. Okay, so I think what we can start doing is we'll start implementing tests and specs for this and try to make a release, but we will have updates on the next week. I think EL clients should also provide an update on next week's ACDT for the status of these EIPs. Yeah, I think that's everything from for this topic. Any comments on this? Is this? And one comment from Marius is that e-transfer 1 is the most complex, should be tackled first. All right. Yeah, I agree.
When do we want to have DevNet 2?
That's a good question. I was thinking that we should target the next couple of weeks, but what we can do is perhaps query the status in next ACDT and decide then. If the specs and tests are or the EL client implementations are falling behind by the next ACDT, I think we can give another week and then see how things are going.
Do we know what the timeline would be for the test for these 4 EIPs?
That's a good question. These are the simplest, well, except for the 77008. That's the most complex one. But I think for the rest of the EIPs, it shouldn't be that hard to start this week with implementation. Yep. All right. Any other comments? And yeah, January 21st, sorry, sounds like a good deadline for DevNet 2 of block access list. Cool. Any other comments on this? Or should we move on to the next topic? All right. Thank you. We have 3 other topics. The first one is the gas limit increase, the 80 million gas. Do we have anyone that can chime in on the status of this?
Hi. So yeah, I can chime in on that. So basically, Martin from our team is analyzing the recent results and will be reaching out to the teams with any updates, etc. To get any information if we should make some improvements in clients. And yeah, it's right now being analyzed. So we'll share some updates soon.
Yes, and probably we would like to aim in 75 million as a next step. And I'm analyzing the data right now, and we'll share with client teams probably not today, but should be ready tomorrow. And there are some client-specific bottlenecks. Yes, I will share it soon.
And one comment from Marius is that 75 million gas is not important at the moment, and we should focus on repricings.
Yeah, focus on the pricing is there. We are working on that in parallel, but we are just checking in meantime if we can do anything before. We know about if 70 and it needs to be implemented, but this unstacks anything above 80. So yeah, so that's why we are just analyzing on our side if we can do something or we have any new bottlenecks which should be addressed before.
Yeah, and this it's likely that increasing to 75 will be like low effort job from all the clients. Like there will be probably some specific bottlenecks which would need to be addressed at some point anyway to just be performance across client be similar. And yeah, that's the point.
All right, thanks. Marcin, Camille, do you need anything from other EL clients at this point? Are there any blockers
Nothing in particular, just maybe so if Martin will came up with some interesting findings, then we'll reach out.
Yeah, we share on Telegram on gas limit testing channel, and there will be probably some scenarios like client-specific scenarios to take a look. So like usual when I'm sharing such analyzing.
Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah, I think, and also the next topic is also relevant to you, Marcin, which is the WRPC endpoint. Should we just jump into that? I share a link of the PR.
Yeah, so the spec the spec in current form is ready, and Netherman implementation is also ready but not tested. So is the point when we can try to use it, and then if there will be some issues, then I will fix it. But it was like before Christmas break. I implemented it and didn't have time for testing, and after the break there were more urgent issues. So it's generally done, but under tested.
All right. Thank you. I think on this call, do you need still some feedback, right, from the ELs on this endpoint, right? Or have the other EL clients already chimed in your PR, or do you need some more feedback?
There is implementation from Nethermind and from Ref, and we had a feedback from Bezu and some discussion, and yeah, that's it.
Sounds good. From the testing side, I think we can help out. We can discuss this later on the gas testing call, but I think we can provide help on the execute side. We can start seeing how we can implement this on the execute for yields and help you with the testing and validation of this endpoint. All right.
Yeah, it would be great to just start using it, and in case of any issues, I will fix it, and maybe we will find that like we need to modify it somehow, or like just to we need to check what will be the best shape of it to be as useful as possible.
All right. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, and jumping on to the last topic for today, we have this PR on the execution APIs. Is there anyone here that has more context or would like to add context to this?
Yeah, hello. I can. Hey everyone, this is Simpson. So a while back, we started working on standardizing JSON RPC error codes. This is mainly because the current error codes are not really meaningful, and it's overlapping between different errors, which means we cannot rely on these error codes to definitely mean one single thing. So we wanted to standardize. We presented this a while back. Since then, we've been working and refining this in the RPC forum, in the RPC call, and got some valuable input from different client groups, and we refined this. So it is at a stage where we can expose to the wider audience and get more feedback, get it ready to merge. So that's the PR. Thanks for putting it on the chat. Please take a look at it. But I can walk through this in like 2 minutes quickly. So the proposal itself is very simple. To implement this proposal, we've been working with the OpenRPC Foundation, and because of their extension specification, which is a new concept allowing you to plug customized specification extensions, which we needed to utilize and implement this particular proposal. So they helped us define error group specification extension. With that, we are able to implement this proposal. If you look at the proposal, it's very simple. So we predefined some error groups. Let's take gas errors or execution errors, for example. Actually, I can share my screen if you don't mind.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Just to mention that we only have 4 minutes, so
okay,
yes,
yeah,
just to
I'll
take that
make it
into
really
account.
quick. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we have a couple of error groups predefined: gas, execution, transaction pool. These are initial, and this is only to cover the most famous ones, if I can say so. which are useful for cross-team clients and maybe wallet or users who rely on these to react. React in the sense, let's say you get a nonce to low error. If you get an error code that's known for nonce to low error, they can react to it in a way increasing the nonce and so on and so forth. So you predefine some error ranges to each error group and predefine the numbers for each errors. If you go into the spec is very simple. Let's take gas errors, and it says let's take maybe transaction pool. You get a transaction already known as, let's say, 1,000. These are defined along with the executioners, which is very famous. We have executioner by revert opcode, which is still 3. We try to cover keep it to a minimal change where you don't have to change too many, but then at least to cover the popular error groups. That is it. It's very simple. The only caveat here is I try to implement a test that generalizes this for multiple clients. You can see the basic client, get, and Nethermind has already been covered, but it's not consistent in a way that you cannot reproduce these negative test cases for all these scenarios, all the error codes that I've written to produce the same output because all these clients don't allow you to set the limits. For example, to get a gas or out of gas error, maybe get has a field that I can set to replicate this, but maybe not on Nethermind or Base. And these tests can be extended to different clients, but we have some sort of test that actually helps validate how the current client behaves to replicate these negative scenarios and see how we can fix it. But as you see, minus 32,000 is across a lot of errors, and which doesn't mean we can rely on minus 32,000 to mean it's a gas too low or too high. So that's what we want to fix. I do think we have good alignment within the RPC forum, but wanted to bring it to a wider audience and decide on the next steps. So if you guys can take a look at it and agree, we can get this merged as soon as we can and then start implementing the test on a proper forum. I'll stop right there for any feedback.
Thank you. I think we are running out of time, but please, EL clients, if you can take a look into this PR, just to make sure that we have enough feedback before trying to merge, that would be really appreciated. And thank you. Thank you for the presentation. All right, I think that's it for today. Any last closing comments before we wrap up? If not, I think we can finish the call there. Thanks everyone for joining. And yeah, goodbye.